The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Leo Tolstoy. This profound statement by Leo Tolstoy serves as a poignant reminder that time is our most precious resource. As we age, particularly for those between 55 and 70 years old, we often come to realize that the hours, days, and years we have are finite. Each moment spent in worry, doubt, or inactivity is a moment we could have invested in meaningful experiences or cherished relationships. Patience and time, as Tolstoy highlights, are not just abstract concepts, they are powerful allies in our journey through life. Rather than allowing ourselves to be consumed by the hustle and bustle of daily life, we must consciously choose how we spend our time. This is particularly important as we reflect on our priorities in this later stage of life. Imagine a life where we prioritize what truly matters, whether it's spending quality moments with loved ones, pursuing long-held dreams, or simply savoring the beauty of everyday life. Each choice we make regarding how we invest our time shapes our legacy and our happiness. This is the moment to reflect on how we can make the most of the time we have left. Are there passions you've set aside? Relationships you've meant to nurture? Experiences you've been hesitant to pursue? Now is the time to embrace those opportunities with both patience and intention, allowing ourselves to grow and thrive in ways we may have previously overlooked. Encourage those around you to stop wasting time on what doesn't serve them. Instead, let's commit to living fully and authentically, making the most of every precious moment we have. By doing so, we transform our lives into a tapestry of meaningful experiences rather than a series of missed opportunities. After all, we are not just counting the years, we are making the years count. In the grand tapestry of our lives, let us weave a narrative that reflects our values, our passions, and the connections we hold dear. Imagine standing at the edge of a peaceful forest after a long journey through mountains, cities, and deserts. The path behind you is filled with experiences, challenges, and moments of growth, but now, as you gaze ahead, the forest invites you to step forward, not with the same hurried pace, but with a new kind of purpose. The invitation is clear: slow down, breathe, and reflect. This message isn't just about resting, though. It's about discovering a new way to live, one that brings peace, contentment, and deeper joy. We live in a world that thrives on the idea of constant movement. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with the idea that progress means doing more. Whether it's in our careers, families, or personal lives, the world demands that we stretch ourselves to achieve, to produce, to perform. For decades, many of us have lived this way, pursuing goals, meeting expectations, and making sacrifices along the way. But now, there comes a time when we must ask, is this constant striving still what serves us best? At this point in life, with so many experiences behind us, the answer may look different than it once did. We've poured our energy into building careers, nurturing relationships, and fulfilling obligations. We've spent hours, days, and years meeting the demands of the world around us. Yet, there comes a realization: what truly matters at this stage isn't always aligned with society's endless push for more. The question becomes not how much we can do, but rather, what is worth our time now? The wisdom that comes with age and experience offers a different perspective. We begin to see that fulfillment is not about filling every moment with activity. Instead, it is about choosing where to place our energy wisely, focusing on those things that bring us joy and a sense of purpose. We shift from the idea of doing more to one of doing less, but with greater intention. This isn't about giving up or stepping back from life. It's about refining our focus, about dedicating ourselves to what genuinely fulfills us. This approach requires us to let go of the belief that success is measured solely by how much we accomplish or accumulate. In truth, real success is found in the richness of the moments we experience and the depth of the connections we nurture. It's not about the number of tasks we complete but the quality of the time we spend. And often, less allows us to live more fully in the present. We are invited to reassess our priorities. To ask, what do we want to experience in this new chapter? More peace? More time for ourselves? More connection with loved ones? These questions guide us away from the noise and towards a simpler, more meaningful existence. By simplifying, we are not giving up on life's potential, we are, in fact, unlocking its deepest rewards. Imagine this: a man, after years of dedication to his career, wakes up one morning and realizes that his most valuable asset is not the success he achieved, but the time he has left. He spent decades in the corporate world, climbing the ladder, leading teams, and accumulating wealth. But now, in his early 60s, he notices that he's grown tired, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. He spent so much time focused on what society deemed important, yet he now feels a void. There's a lack of joy in his daily grind, despite his accomplishments. One day, he decides to make a change. Instead of continuing to push through, he takes a step back. He starts saying no to unnecessary meetings, no to obligations that don't align with his values. He spends more time at home, with his family, and rekindles his passion for painting, a hobby he abandoned years ago because it didn't seem productive. Over time, he finds that he's more at peace. The world didn't end when he chose to do less. In fact, his life became more vibrant. He felt a deeper sense of connection with his family, more joy in the quiet moments, and more fulfillment from the activities that brought him genuine happiness. This man's story is a reminder that as we stand at the doorway to a new phase of life, doing less doesn't mean we're giving up. It means we are focusing on what truly matters, on what makes our hearts feel alive, and our minds at ease. It is in this careful selection of where we place our energy that we discover the beauty of living fully. Have we ever taken a moment to reflect on the journey we've traveled so far? As we stand at this stage of life, we find ourselves looking back at the many years spent pursuing goals, striving for financial security, and ensuring that we've built something meaningful for ourselves and those we care about. But now, as the horizon ahead becomes clearer, we are faced with a profound realization: the value of time far outweighs the value of money. For years, perhaps even decades, we've been focused on making sure our financial futures were secure. We worked hard, sacrificed, and gave our energy to ensure that we had enough savings, enough assets, enough success to feel safe. But now, in this chapter, the real question becomes, what is truly worth our attention? Is it the number of dollars we have accumulated, or is it the richness of our memories, the depth of our relationships, and the peace we find in the simplest moments? The reality is, the most meaningful things in life are not bought or sold, they are experienced. Those irreplaceable moments with the people we love, the laughter we share, the quiet conversations, and even the stillness of a sunset, these are the treasures that fill our hearts in ways that material wealth simply cannot. As we move forward, it's worth asking ourselves, what do we really value? Is it the financial stability we've worked so hard for, or is it the experiences that shape our souls? We've spent a lifetime working, pouring our energy, our effort, our very selves into our jobs, into meeting expectations, into making sure we achieved what we set out to do. But more work doesn't necessarily mean more fulfillment. If anything, it often distracts us from what brings true contentment. Have we ever considered that the endless grind might have taken us away from what truly matters most? The time we could have spent with our families, the moments we could have savored, the memories we could have created, all these things have immeasurable value. Now, Whether we've already retired or are contemplating stepping away from the daily hustle, this is the perfect opportunity to reassess. What commitments are still weighing us down? What responsibilities have we taken on that no longer serve our happiness or our peace? This is a pivotal moment to reflect and ask ourselves, what can we release? What can we let go of to make room for more meaningful experiences? The beauty of this stage in life is that we no longer have to be everything to everyone. We can choose, with clarity and intention, what we truly want to invest our energy in. For much of our lives, we've been conditioned to think that fulfillment comes from adding more achievements, more possessions, more obligations. But what if the key to real joy is found in simplifying? What if the secret to living well is not about adding more but subtracting the unnecessary? As we clear away the clutter of our lives, we create space for what genuinely nourishes our spirits. We don't need to fill every waking moment with tasks, obligations, or expectations. Instead, we can focus on what brings us genuine satisfaction, peace, and joy. At this stage of life, many of us begin to see that happiness comes not from grand accomplishments, but from the smallest, most unassuming pleasures. A quiet moment spent sipping tea, the feeling of the sun on our face during an afternoon walk, the laughter that comes from being in the company of loved ones, these are the things that give life meaning. It's in these simple moments that we find our richest experiences. Have we not noticed that as we grow older, the world's obsession with accumulation seems increasingly out of step with what we value? We start to understand that less truly is more. Less distraction allows us to be fully present. Less pressure frees us to enjoy life at our own pace. Less noise lets us hear the quiet whispers of our own hearts. The truth is, there is beauty in simplicity, in letting go of the unnecessary to make room for what is essential. And in this stage of life, we are blessed with the opportunity to redefine what is essential for us personally. We've spent so much of our time chasing after the next thing, but now, we can slow down and ask ourselves what truly brings joy into our lives. It's not the external markers of success that define us, but the internal moments of connection, of peace, of fulfillment. We've learned that there's a profound richness in doing less, in being more present, in allowing ourselves to simply be. The quiet moments, whether spent alone or with those we care about, are the ones that shape the legacy of our lives. We don't need to follow the world's script anymore. The pressure to achieve, to own, to compete, it no longer defines us. Instead, we get to write a new story, one in which we prioritize what truly matters. Have we given ourselves permission to step away from the expectations of others? To let go of the demands that no longer align with our hearts? This is the time to embrace freedom, the freedom to live life on our terms, to do what brings us peace, to cultivate the relationships and experiences that fill our souls with joy. The beauty of this phase in life is that it gives us the opportunity to be intentional. We no longer have to do things because we feel obligated or because society expects it. We get to choose. What brings us joy? What brings us peace? What brings us fulfillment? These are the questions we can ask ourselves now, without the pressure of needing to prove anything to anyone. The true currency of life is time. And how we choose to spend it, who we share it with, what we focus on, will determine the quality of the years ahead. So let's choose wisely. Let's choose intentionally. Let's choose to fill our days with the people, the moments, and the experiences that bring us the greatest sense of peace, joy, and purpose. This is our time to live in alignment with the wisdom we've gathered, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to embrace what truly matters. The wealth we accumulate in life is not measured by our bank accounts, but by the richness of our relationships, the beauty of our memories, and the peace we find in our hearts. This is the moment to live with intention, to cherish each day, and to invest in what truly matters. One of the greatest freedoms that comes with age is the release from the opinions of others. It's a powerful proverb, and it speaks to a truth many of us spend a lifetime learning. Think about it. For so many years, we've been tethered to what others think, bound by expectations that may not align with who we truly are. Whether it's societal norms, family expectations, or the unspoken pressures from the world around us, we've all felt that weight. But now, with the wisdom and experience that age brings, we can finally see it for what it is: unnecessary baggage. We're no longer confined by it. This is our life, and we've earned the right to live it on our own terms, free from those chains. There's a lesson that comes with this realization, one that often takes time to truly sink in. It's about letting go of the need for control. Isn't it true that for so much of our lives, we've been fixated on controlling our future, planning meticulously for what's to come? But what we've learned, what time has shown us, is that life has its own plans. No matter how carefully we've crafted our path, life will twist and turn in ways we could have never predicted. And here's the secret: that's okay. That's more than okay, it's liberating. When we release the need to control what's ahead, we free ourselves to fully live in the present. The future will come in its own time, but today, right here and now, is where we find our power, our peace. We might ask ourselves, what happens when we let go of that control? What replaces it? The answer is simple, yet profound: gratitude. Gratitude is the key that unlocks joy in the present moment. As we age, it's easy to focus on what's been lost, the agility we once had, the people who may no longer be with us, the dreams that have shifted over time. But in that shift, there's a choice. We can mourn the losses, or we can embrace the incredible blessings that remain. And when we choose gratitude, something extraordinary happens. We start to see the beauty in the everyday. The warmth of a cup of coffee in the morning, the laughter of a child or grandchild, the way the sunset paints the sky with colors we didn't notice before. These are the treasures we still hold. Consider for a moment the power of gratitude. It's not just a fleeting feeling, it's a transformative practice. When we cultivate gratitude, we begin to see the world through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. We realize that life, even with its imperfections, is rich beyond measure. Each breath we take, each step we walk, each conversation we share, it's all a gift. And when we see it this way, how can we not be overwhelmed with a sense of wonder and joy? Gratitude connects us to the present, and it's in the present that we find our truest selves. We begin to trust life. Trust is such a powerful word, and it's one that can feel elusive. But the more we release our grip on the future, the more we find that life has always been guiding us, even when we didn't realize it. Every twist, every turn, every detour, it's all been part of the journey. And now, in this season of life, we can finally trust that everything has unfolded exactly as it was meant to. The challenges we've faced, the joys we've experienced, they've all brought us to this moment, and this moment is enough. With trust comes acceptance, and that's another gift of aging. We no longer have to fight against the current of life, trying to shape it into something it's not. We can flow with it, knowing that wherever it takes us, we'll be okay. Acceptance doesn't mean we've given up or settled, it means we've made peace with what is. And in that peace, we find strength to face whatever comes next with grace and courage. We've lived, we've learned, and now, we have the gift of perspective. We can see things now that we couldn't see before, the big picture, the long game. We understand that life isn't about ticking off a list of accomplishments or meeting arbitrary milestones. It's about connection, love, purpose. It's about the people we've touched, the relationships we've nurtured, the lives we've impacted. And when we reflect on that, we see that we've lived a life of true value. Where does that leave us? It leaves us in a place of freedom. Freedom from the opinions of others, freedom from the need to control the future, freedom to live fully in the present, embracing gratitude, trust, and acceptance. This is a new kind of freedom, one that we've earned through the years. It's not the freedom we might have sought in our younger days, the freedom to do whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted. No, this is deeper. This is the freedom to be who we are, unapologetically, without the need for approval or validation. And that, my friends, is a freedom worth celebrating. We've come a long way, and we still have much to offer. There's so much life left to live, so many moments still to savor. And as we move forward, let's do so with hearts full of gratitude, trusting that the journey ahead will be just as rich, just as meaningful, as the path we've already traveled. We are free, we are enough, and we are exactly where we're meant to be. This kind of freedom is a gift, one that allows us to strip away the unnecessary, to let go of the things that no longer serve us. Imagine how it feels to release the burdens of what you thought you should do, and instead, focus on what brings you genuine joy. The need to impress, the constant striving, it can all be set aside. Because, in truth, we are enough just as we are. We always have been. And it's this stage of life that gives us the clarity to see that, to feel that truth deeply in our bones. Have you noticed how much more beautiful life becomes when we embrace this freedom? When we allow ourselves to slow down, to be present in each moment, life opens up in ways we may have missed before. The laughter of a grandchild, the warmth of a hug, the peace of a quiet afternoon, these are the moments that fill our souls. These are the treasures we can carry forward, not because we've earned them, but because we've chosen to see them, to value them. As we look ahead, the path is ours to shape. We hold the power to live with intention, to make each day meaningful in ways that resonate with who we are now, not who we once were. It's about finding purpose not in what others think we should be doing, but in what brings us peace, what aligns with our values, and what brings us closer to the people and experiences that make life worth living. Think about how freeing that is, to wake up each morning and choose how you want to spend your time. To engage with life, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. Whether it's taking up a new hobby, deepening your relationships, or simply enjoying the quiet moments, the choice is yours. You have the wisdom now to know what matters, and the freedom to pursue it without hesitation. We want to hear from you, because your story, your experiences, are part of this larger conversation. What are the things that bring you joy now? How have you found purpose in the small moments of your life? How have you embraced the freedom to live on your own terms? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Your words may inspire someone else on this journey. And if this message has resonated with you, take a moment to like this video. Share it with someone who might need to hear these words today. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content that uplifts and encourages. Together, we can continue to explore what it means to live with purpose, with intention, and with the beautiful freedom that comes from knowing we are enough, just as we are. As we move together through the seasons of life, there comes a time when we begin to reflect on our purpose, our place, and what truly gives meaning to our journey. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself what drives you now, in this stage of your life? Maybe in your younger years, it was all about reaching certain goals, chasing that next promotion, raising a family, or hitting those benchmarks that society set out for you. Perhaps it felt like your worth was tied to what you could achieve, to the roles you played or the titles you carried. But as we grow, as we evolve, we realize something deeper. True purpose isn't always found in grand accomplishments or in the recognition of others. Sometimes, it's hidden in the smaller, quieter moments that whisper to us when we slow down. Let's imagine Mary, a woman who has spent much of her life dedicated to others. In her younger years, Mary worked tirelessly, juggling a demanding career, raising her children, and making sure everyone around her was taken care of. Her life was full of responsibilities, and she often found herself measuring her worth by how much she could accomplish in a day. She was proud of her achievements, of course, her promotions, the success of her kids, the home she kept in order. But deep down, there was always this feeling of needing to do more, be more, achieve more. As the years passed, however, Mary began to notice a shift. Her children grew up and became independent, her career started to wind down, and the relentless pace she once maintained began to slow. At first, this felt unsettling. After all, she had spent so many years in the role of caretaker, worker, and achiever. Without the constant busyness, she wondered, what was her purpose now? Who was she without all those roles to define her? Then something beautiful happened. Mary began to realize that this new stage of life wasn't about doing more, it was about being more. She discovered that her purpose didn't have to be tied to a to-do list or external expectations. It was in the way she engaged with life, in the quality of her connections, and in the way she took care of herself. One afternoon, sitting on her porch, Mary found herself deeply moved by the simplicity of the moment. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over her garden, and the birds were singing softly. She wasn't rushing to finish a task, wasn't worrying about tomorrow's obligations. For the first time in a long time, she felt fully present. It was in that quiet moment that she understood her purpose was right there, in front of her. It was in the way she appreciated the beauty around her, in how she nurtured her relationships, and in how she embraced the freedom to live life on her own terms. Mary no longer felt the pressure to measure her value by what she could achieve. She let go of the need to constantly prove herself and started to focus on the things that truly mattered to her, spending time with her grandchildren, tending to her garden, taking long walks in nature, and having meaningful conversations with friends. She found joy in the simplest acts, like baking her favorite bread or sitting down with a good book. In the past, Mary might have brushed these activities aside as unimportant, thinking they didn't count as accomplishments. But now, she understood that these small, peaceful moments were the very essence of living with purpose. She was no longer driven by the rush of productivity or the need for recognition. She was driven by the quiet joy of being present, of experiencing life in its fullness, and by the freedom to live authentically. Mary's life is a reflection of the very idea we've been talking about, that purpose is not something we need to chase in grand gestures or significant achievements. It's found in the everyday beauty of life, in the freedom to choose how we spend our time, and in the ability to live with intention. For Mary, the power wasn't in doing more but in being, in cherishing her relationships, finding peace in the present moment, and embracing the simplicity that comes with knowing she is enough, just as she is. Like her, we can choose to let go of the pressure to constantly strive and instead, embrace the quiet moments that bring meaning and fulfillment. Mary found her purpose in the simplicity of life, and we can do the same, by living with intention, choosing peace, and finding joy in the freedom of simply being. We'd love to hear your own stories and reflections. What are the small moments that bring you joy? How have you found freedom in this stage of life? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more valuable insights. Together, let's continue this journey of living with purpose, intention, and freedom. What if our purpose lies not in what we do, but in how we live? What if the essence of our existence is found in the simplest acts, like the way we greet the sunrise each morning, or the way we listen, truly listen, when someone speaks to us? The beauty of life, the richness of our experiences, isn't always about reaching a certain destination. It's about being present in the journey itself. It's about feeling the connection in the moments that often go unnoticed, the conversations shared over coffee, the smiles exchanged with strangers, the way we nurture those we love. Now, about freedom, the kind of freedom that only comes with time and experience. This is a new chapter, isn't it? A chapter where we have the freedom to live differently, to make choices that aren't dictated by the pressures we may have once felt. Think about that for a moment. We now have the freedom to do less, but in doing less, we can actually experience more. We're no longer bound by the relentless pursuit of success or by the expectations placed on us. Instead, we have the liberty to focus on what truly matters, what fills our hearts and lifts our spirits.